Good morning, everybody. We're going to go ahead and go over our ballistic breaching program for Special Operations Group. This is going to account for your annual recertification. So our learning objectives will be to develop a breaching program. So for us, this is the start of our program. Justification when necessary for the tactics use, discuss policy and procedure for shotgun breaching, which will touch on ALE's specific policy and procedure. We'll discuss intelligence gathering needed for breaching, explain the importance of thorough and proper planning. We'll identify various breaching shotgun platforms and discuss shotgun modification and accessories. We're also going to identify additional tools and equipment needed, identify and discuss shotgun breaching munitions, discuss various modes of carry, deployment procedures, positioning and target areas, discuss breaching contingencies, post-operation procedures and documentation, breaching training programs. We'll discuss participate in range training drills. So breaching program, so when utilized correctly, shotgun breaching is safe, efficient, and very effective. Shotgun breaching is a widely used and proven tactic. 12-gauge shotguns are easy to obtain, inexpensive, familiar, easily modified, and easily accessorized. Breaching munitions are inexpensive and easy to use. Every shotgun breach should be justified. Uses include, but not limited to, failed breach contingency, expedient interior breaches in spaces where mechanical are impractical, fortification of a breach point, multiple breachers or breach points in operation, provides portable breach capability in large structures, not for use in every case where other means are available, you will lose it. Must understand that as an introduction to gunfire, as with any tactic, if used improperly, injuries are possible. So develop policy and procedure for the tactic. SOPs should cover purpose, justification, deployment procedures, communications, pre and post breach, training required, initial and ongoing, reporting and documentation. So only officers trained in the tactic should utilize it outside of exigency. We're also going to discuss legal issues as far as objective reasonableness, totality of circumstances, deliberate indifference, and failure to train. So under intelligence gathering, we want to gather as much information as possible. Just like we do now, anytime we go and prepare for a SOG mission or a hit, we want to know as much about the structure, and in this case, the breaching points as possible. We want to eliminate all the unknowns that we can. I know that's not always possible, but if we can eliminate them, let's do so. Plan for both a primary and secondary entry point. I know we already do that, as well as breach failures in the case that mechanical is not working. We're going to utilize fixed and/or drive-by surveillance and take pictures and/or video for reference during planning. So essential information: primary entry point used by suspects, door and screen types and construction, location and number of locks, fortifications and/or barricades, directions of the doors, screens open, so direction of screens and doors, how they open, approach routes and hazards, suspects' lifestyle habits, so other police officers who've seen the target, personal observation of similar properties, managers or property owners, so be aware of their affiliation with bad guys, confidential informants, so be aware of their motivational reward here. So as you see up here, some different types of doors. You got chains, you've got a class 2 metal door there in the middle, you've got just a fortified door on the far right, which has got like a K-bar across the door there. Again, 2x4s that are strapped, and then you've got like a solid wood door with some type of heavy lock, either deadbolt or a coated lock there. How about this door right here? Probably a pretty good use, right? So planning, breach should be meticulously planned to minimize delays and vulnerability. Backup plans need to be developed with equal diligence. Operation briefs should include explicit information so that every team member is aware of breach timing, movements, and contingencies. Breach tools needed, door construction, breacher's approach, breacher's position, communications and signals, post-breach responsibilities, and other contingencies. Dry run rehearsals are very valuable for breaching. Things we already do, like dry runs, guys, this would be something we will continue to add in if we know this is a possibility, having to use a breaching shotgun. Load vehicle in reverse order of lineup. So when we get the Bearcat, if we know that the breacher needs to be out first, which we typically do now. For example, like Mike or Joe, or whoever breaching is always at the very rear, right? First visible team member out must be able to provide lethal cover. So typically, again, we cover this already. We usually have a lethal cover when the rest of the team's getting out. We also use like half doors on the Bearcat, which are great cover for us. Point man's primary responsibility is to cover the breach point. The breachers exit the vehicle next or behind heavy head. On approach, the breachers stay behind the point man. Breachers step out to appropriate side as per the plan when close. Remaining members exit the vehicle, fall in line, stagger coverage. Placing the breachers behind the point versus the end. So fewer muzzles to cross, reduces the time to get to the breach point. So again, consider those when we're making our lineup, especially if we're going to use a shotgun to breach. Communications. The breach can be initiated in several ways. Verbal signal by radio or voice. Point man head nod. Point man lighting the door with a weapon mounted light. Predetermined point. Knock and announce countdown. Distraction device deployed, or some other timed event such as window breach. Breaching tools. So no shotgun breaching program or breach is complete without the right breaching tools. Most widely used breaching tool is a ram. So obviously we have one of these, we use it all the time. We're primarily a mechanical breaching team until hopefully now we'll start utilizing this a little bit more when we're able to do so. Usually rams are metal, 35 to 55 pounds, flathead with 2 handles. So Hooligan. Typically used as a firefighter tool, has a flat wedge, sharp spike, and prying forks. It's good for prying and breaking glass. Again, something we're all very familiar with. We've used it quite a bit because we're a primary mechanical team until now. Talk about shotgun selection. Breaching shotgun selection. Shotgun selection is mostly preference, availability, and price based. Most shotguns will function with breaching rounds. Chokes may be a problem, so we're going to check with our munition manufacturer. In the case of the firearms we're going to use Mossbergs. These are pump guns. These are not semi-automatic, so these will cycle our rounds, right? Because it's a manual cycle gun for us. They do not have chokes. They do have breaching ends on them because this is what? A primary breaching gun. We don't have to worry about using or utilizing any type of certain choke in them. Semi-automatic shotguns will function with breaching rounds. They do not always auto-cycle. With impact munitions, chemical barricade projectile rounds, or 12-gauge flashbang rounds. And we don't have to worry about any of this stuff because we don't use any of these munitions in a 12-gauge shotgun. So up here, different types. You have like pumps, like the Remington at the top. You have the 870 PMAX there, Mossbergs. Again, at the very bottom there is the Mossberg we'll be using. We have 2 of those now. You have some other semi-auto options as well. So specific manufacturers, Remington obviously used to be the biggest one of them. There were some other people who made these. I know Penn Arms is one of them as well. Royal Arms makes them as well. They're a lot. Some of them are a little bit shorter than these. But they are custom built, they are specially made firearms. So in our case, we chose to go with these Mossbergs for just the wide availability of that and parts and the ease of fixing them. So there you see the Penn Arm Striker. Some of these shotguns right here will be modified as we go through these slides. So I'm going to just kind of roll through these a little bit. These are full-size shotguns with pistol grips on them. Breaching munitions. So emergency breaching rounds. Double-aught buck, which was used by the military first. Obviously, we're not going to use that type of round. We have 2 specific rounds we're going to use. Both are manufactured by CTS. That light round is the 2570, and the heavy round being the 2577. So those are the 2 rounds we'll be using, not double-aught buck. Virginia Tech mass shooting on chain lock doors. They indicated here that double-aught buck was used then to be able to get through those chain lock doors. Birdshot number 8 or number 9 was also used by the military first. Handgun, SMG, or rifle ammunition used in extreme situations. Frangible ammunition is the safest. You see bismuth is up there. That's what our heavy rounds are going to be made out of, powdered bismuth. Zinc, ceramic, steel, copper, and clay. And powdered zinc is what the light rounds, the light duty rounds that we use are made out of. So numerous manufacturers, you got Hatton, Royal Arms, ALS, Polyshock, MK Ballistics, Defense Technologies, and CTS. And again, you see at the bottom, there's 2 numbers there. The CTS is the 2 rounds we'll be using. So door breacher here, 2570, it's a 1921 gram projectile. It's compressed metal powdered zinc, 1100 feet per second. The heavy door breacher that we carry is a 48 to 49 gram projectile. It's compressed metal powdered bismuth and about 1100 foot a second. All right, so do not use this product unless you have the proper training certification. So you guys are going through this today, so you guys will be certified through training today to start using this system. Breaching considerations. So choose experienced and capable members to be primary breachers. Familiar with shotguns, well versed in breaching munitions, familiar with various techniques, aware of various door construction, participates in regular team breaching training. We'll send those, our primary breachers, for example, Mike and Joe. Hopefully we can get them through these specialized schools moving forward, or anybody else who will become primary breachers down the road. Protective gear, there's a chance of minor splashback of wood, metal, or powder. In this case, it would primarily be wood from most of the doors that we are going to breach. In some cases, it could be metal, especially when we see, for example, Class 2 doors at commercial structures, which is the most common we'll see. We want to use eye protection, goggles, for example, protective mask, wraparound glasses. In this case, we'll use our glasses. Gloves, which we all have. Heavy boots, ballistic vests, and groin protection, long sleeves, hearing protection, both operationally and in training. So in our case, for example, today we're going to be able to utilize our vest, our helmet, and eye pro. We have sleeves on and gloves. Breachers should carry pouches to reload their system throughout operation. So breachers typically should carry somewhere between 12 and 24 rounds. We'll say this, we probably won't carry 12 and 24 rounds. We'll carry enough to be able to be operational and probably some spares on somebody else. However, if we get into a commercial structure, for example, a large mass shooting at a school or a hospital, we may need to take into consideration carry far more rounds. So we may all need to have additional rounds placed on us. It recommends that all officers carry at least 5 rounds on their person. Leg pouches will hold up to 20 rounds. Some people make vest pouches that'll hold 5, 12, and 24. Method of carry. So lots of different methods of carry. I know some people have seen a bunch of different things. I think we're going to probably end up carrying ours by some type of magnet. But up here they recommend having a sling or bungee, packs and catches. So Blackhawk Stealth, weapon catches, Diamondback tactical catch, Gunslinger, SKT Industries, and Everly stock backpacks. In our case, to make it easy, I would definitely recommend us using some type of sling and or magnet on the cummerbund to be able to have it easily accessible when needed. So you use a nylon sling, D-ring, and weapons catch as a simple, reliable, and effective option. Easy to deploy, stow, and reload. It does not interfere with a sling system. So again, same thing here, compatible across body armor platforms, transferable between team members. Deployment. Condition of carry. Condition 1, live round chamber, live rounds and magazine tube. Pros here are ready to deploy lethal round, 1 extra round on the shotgun. Cons, you have a loaded weapon pointed at your legs the entire time you're walking around with it. In this case, with our vest, you may have something to knock that safety off, hopefully not. But I would recommend that we don't carry it like that. So in this case, condition 3, no round chamber, but there are live rounds in the magazine tube. Safer carry during operation. We recommend we carry our shotguns in condition 3. And if we need them, or we know that as soon as we approach a door and it's going to be an option for us to breach a door, then we can, or the breacher can, or the individual on the team who is using the shotgun that day can go ahead and remove it from their vest and prepare it by loading a chamber into the round. Cons here, you must chamber a round before you take that first shot. It takes training to learn not to automatically cycle it. We also have to remember to manipulate the safety. So position, breacher ready on the door, deploy on appropriate side, try to stay out of the doorway, utilize proper angles for door mechanism, may not be able to shoulder the shotgun, look at mechanism, not hands, practice using both hands if possible, preference, which is the preference, can provide lethal cover for self in extreme case. The lethal cover or point man, so don't send the breacher up without a lethal cover, stay in position to have first view and muzzle into the room, stay flexible and mobile. So you see his setup here, he's in the doorway. In this case, he's having to use a shotgun at what we call 45-45 angle. So it's 45 away, 45 up, and then just above the locking mechanism itself there. So target areas and angles. Object is to disrupt the connection between the mechanism, hinge or lock, and frame wood door, wood frame. So again, you see here 45 and 45. So it's 45 degrees up or down, and then 45 degrees out. Angle defeats larger section of frame, creates a larger margin for error. It's 45 inwards toward frame, defeats both mechanism and the frame, and dumps excess energy and debris into door frame along with the ceiling or floor. So target areas and angles, again, object is disrupt the connection between hinge or lock, frame, metal door, metal frame. So it says minimum here is 45 and 49. That's an error. That should be 45 and 90, not 45 and 49. So it's 45 degrees up or down and then 90 into the seam. Angle defeats larger section of frame, creates a larger margin for error. It's a 90-degree off seam of door, separates mechanism and the frame. Avoids pushing metal parts into a frame and then fusing that connection. So again, on heavy doors, we see these class 2 metal doors. We use a heavy round. We want to use a 45-90. The reason being is we don't want to fuse any of those metal parts, that metal door frame together, because we're just creating more of an issue for us to get through the door. Right? Expediency is key to getting in. If we're not doing this, then we're just slowing ourselves down. Primary target is the lock, throw, and deadbolt. Downward angle just above the knob. Downward or upward angle 6 to 8 inches from the knob. Secondary targets are the hinges. So unseen, top, upward approximately 8 to 10 inches from the top. The middle, downward just slightly above midpoint. And bottom, downward 8 to 10 inches from the bottom. So on our hinges, if we're doing top hinges, we're going to be 8 to 10 inches from the top. And we're going to be upward on the top hinge. Access after each shot. So proper placement and follow-up, force door open, kick, or ram. So if you get a good shot on the first one, if, for example, if we're using a door knob or a deadbolt, we want to check the door. We may not need 2 rounds. But if we can't push it open, or it's not easily open, or we don't see daylight, we may have to use a secondary round. So outward opening or pull doors, primary targets are the hinges. Top, upward, approximately 8 to 10 inches from the top. The middle hinge, downward, just slightly above midpoint. The bottom hinge is downward 8 to 10 inches from bottom. Locks may not be a good secondary target. Chance of pushing metal parts into frame and fusing them together. If must hit locks, use a minimum of a 45-90 to separate. Without hinges, doors should be free to pull out. Access after each shot, proper placement and follow-up. Pull door out from top down with hand or pry tool or if you need to kick the bottom. So again, this is a outward opening pull door. Additional option on outward opening pull doors, teams should test and time lock side hits on pull doors. Team may find lock side hits on pull doors with pry tools may be just as efficient, maybe time efficient rather. Pros can breach with just 1 shotgun, it's faster. Cons may push metal into metal. So something to be considered on outward doors is the expediency and efficiency of using a shotgun in this case, because you may have to use the hinges rather than the lock being, and it may be just as easy to have to pry them open if we have that ability. So again, it says at the bottom, we're going to continue to check it after each shot that we take, unless we're using all the hinges. So additional option on steel doors or steel frames, teams should test a 45-45 minimum angle on residential steel doors, both in steel frames and wood frames. Varying types of doors being manufactured, so utilizing a 45-45 approach may reduce the amount of material debris that's pushed into the structure. Again, that's one of the pros here, can reduce the debris in structure, and again, pushing material and metal, forcing more work on a door than we need to force on ourselves. So additional target areas and angles, intelligence on doors is imperative. When using a 45-90, most residential doors are metal skinned with either a wood or metal frame. If a 45-90 is used, be aware of the seam. Teams may see an excessive amount of debris in room from 45-90 seam shot. Ensure minimum angles are 45-90. So again, this is a residential door that's metal skinned. Deployment, manipulations planned and unplanned. Usually breaching shotgun carried as a primary piece of equipment. Move up to the proper position according to plan. Initiate breach on planned signal. So deploy 2 breaching rounds per mechanism, hinge or lock. Assess before chambering next round. So go condition 3 if the door does open after the first round or even the second. We don't want to rack a round into the chamber because now we're in condition 1, could be unsafe while carrying through the house. So again, it'll be a training issue that we're going to continue to make sure we're not racking around in there and then running through the house with it. Kick the door open, chamber, and redeploy rounds to hung mechanism. Complete breach with mechanical tools. Step out of line, top off, and continue with other assignments, or wait for additional breaching. So I don't know why it's not playing those, but we'll see if I can get it to work. Breaching shotgun carried as contingency. So unplanned, try door by hand. Call for shotgun breach using predetermined terminology. Breach or respond or trade with lethal cover. Deploy 1 to 2 breaching rounds per mechanism, hinge and lock. Kick or pull door open if possible. Assess before chambering the next round, so leaving condition 3. Redeploy rounds to the hung mechanism. Complete breach with mechanical tools on side breached. Restow shotgun in transition, so first man may have to pause. Continue with entry, so top off breaching gun in next room or when you're able to do so. Contingencies for deployment. Like all other tactics, be prepared for the breach to fail. Develop and train on secondary plans and contingencies. Exterior, redeploy shotgun to hung mechanisms. Should probably be announcing. Complete breach with mechanical tools. Consider deploying a flashbang when opened. Abort and surround and call out if not an HR. Interior, reload and redeploy the shotgun to any mechanisms that are hung. Complete breach with mechanical tools. Consider deploying a flashbang. Consider moving in deliberate fashion from there forward. Post-operation, breacher should study the breach, what worked and what didn't. So check on placement of shots, observe damage to mechanisms and frame. Look for shoot-through damage to 4 other items. Look for debris throughout that room. Collect all munitions, photograph all damage. For training, protection, and reporting, and what we can do to make it better, debrief and identify any issues to be addressed in training. So again, as we use this, we want to see what worked and what didn't. Did it slow us down? Did it speed us up? Again, which rounds worked, which rounds didn't work, and we're going to see that today using these rounds, the heavy and the light. You'll see the difference in the damage they'll do and the amount of debris, so to give you an idea. Training. So regular consistent training is a necessity. Can be live fire or dry fire manipulation. Single officer deployment for mechanics and angles. Utilize breaching stands. Build door frames or breaching facades. When possible, find real structures to do damage. Work on angle of attack, rapid or timed and smooth deployments. Team deployment. Perform regular training entries and mark doors for breaching. Give several officers the shotguns and rotate. Start with dry fire, work toward live fire, or work on body positioning, communication, and lethal coverage. Documentation as far as training logs and videos. These are some options for training doors. We've built some of these stands. I've actually built some of these stands already that we can use. We just need to be on a range, or for example, here behind the range when we need to use these. But I have built these. We just need to go get the remainder of like the 2x4s, and I've built the stands already. All right, so training gear, body armor with groin protection, eye and ear protection, gloves, long sleeves, heavy boots, tactical gear, ram and hoolie, breaching shotguns, breaching munitions, bird shot for practice, breaching stands, doors, door frames, drill, screw gun and screws, first aid kit, witness boards, video and or still camera. Review range and firearm safety rules, breaching platform familiarization, single officer, dry on breaching stands, live on breaching stands, which we can use bird shot for. We don't have to use our actual breaching rounds, which are the stands we just saw up there. Dry on door, door frame, live on door and door frame. Entry team, so we're going to work on dry on door and door frame, planned and unplanned. If you have a structure available that we can do an unplanned breach on. Live on door and door frame, so we'll do planned and unplanned if structure is available. So just a quick review on this. We're going to choose a shotgun that your team is familiar with. We're going to create solid policy or SOP for ballistic breaching, which we've done. We'll look at another established team's SOPs. Choose breachers who will become students of their craft. Standardize protective gear for your team as it relates to ballistic breaching. Choose and carry option that is transferable between team members and is easy to deploy and stow operationally. We're going to consider condition 3 as our carry option. Remember, on wood door frames, wood doors, we're going to use a 45, 45, 45 out and 45 up or down, depending if it's a hinge or where the lock is located. And remember, on any combination of a metal door, so it's any combination. So if that's a wood skin, a metal skinned wood door, like a wood core door, it's metal skin with a metal door frame, we're going to use a 45-90. Or if it's all metal, like class 2 structure or class 2 metal doors we find in commercial structures. And then we're going to want to document our team training. Any questions?